Hi there guys! It's time again for me to talk about the books I read recently, and I figured I'd better get to it before this becomes another 20-minute video. Let's go! A book that I just finished that I thought was really good was Tell the Wolves I'm Home. It takes place in 1980s New York, and a 15-year-old girl just lost her gay uncle to AIDS. And basically through the perspective of this young girl, it talks about how we really viewed AIDS at the time. We quite literally had no idea in the 80s, like, what is this thing? What's gonna happen? Can everybody catch it? How easily can you catch it? And there really was like a bit of a panic about it, and it's just also very interesting to read about the really close relationship that the main character had with her uncle. And this is like both of them, obviously, because book people tend to write about other creative people. They both have such a good appreciation for art, and I just thought it was a really well-written book. You really felt like you get to know the character June. I recommend it. Another good book I read was Show Your Work by KLEON, I believe is how you say that. It is about how to get work done and show your work like an artist, and basically the title is very, very helpful. It tells you how to show your work. It basically talks about partly the struggles with getting the courage to be creative and why should I put myself out there? Because you should. And it also talks about showing the process and getting people to follow you and be interested. It's a really short read, but pretty worth it. Pick it up if you find it. Another book that I read that I'm not sure everyone will relate to is I read Paganism, An Introduction to Earth-Based Religions by Joyce and Rain Higginbottom. It is a book about like the pagan and earth-centered religions, obviously, but it's about practicing as a pagan. It's about just bare information. Rain and Joyce Higginbottom wrote it as sort of a textbook sort of thing. It's totally and completely not a type of conversion book of like, see the light. It's basically like, look, if you want to know more about this topic and the things that like pagans do and like the meanings behind things, here's the information in book form. And I decided to read this book because I just kind of felt like going on a bit of a book spirit quest, if you will. I've always been kind of interested in like pagan and earth-centered religions, but never really researched it because I kind of have had a really negative experience with organized religion because I went to Catholic school growing up, which could be a series of videos on its own, but let's not digress. But I really liked it. I definitely think that whether or not you are or aren't interested in paganism, if you are like interested in just knowing what they feel about certain things, what they think about certain things, it's very analytical and straightforward. It's not that drippy and preachy. It will give you the information you want without them trying to convince you that their way of thinking is correct. Next book I read was Descender by Jeff Lemire, Volume 1, Tin Star. This was really, really interesting. One of the reviews on the cover of the graphic novel was, "You've just found your next sci-fi addiction," and that is a pretty accurate review because instantly you're just like, oh well, I want to know what happens. And it's already like a short little trade issue graphic novel thing, but I read the whole thing in under an hour because I just kept wanting to find out what happened. It takes place in a science fiction future, and out of nowhere these giant robots come out of the sky and like fuck everybody's day up. So they're trying to figure out like why these robots came, how can we defend ourselves if they decide to fuck up our day again. And the only evidence that they have to go on is the only robot left in existence that could possibly like have some type of connection to the giant robots that fucked everybody's day up is a companion bot that was a little kid that somehow got stranded on a moon mining planet, and people are after him, and that's just even a little bit, and it's just so interesting. I really enjoyed it. I didn't even check if any of them other ones were out yet because I've been really busy lately, but if I see the other volumes, I will read them. Highly recommend, very good. I then read Apocalypse Girl by Andrew McLean. This was fun. I liked the concept. It was just a very simple concept of a girl stranded on an alien planet for a while and she's trying to build a ship to go home. This book I didn't think was as much fun because it sort of ends abruptly, but as far as I know, it's not part of a series, it's just a standalone. And I was kind of left with the feeling of, that's it. Not in the leaving them wanting more type, that's it, the type of like, oh, well, I guess that stuff happened. It wasn't unenjoyable and the art was nice, so if you're ever at the public library and see it, go ahead and give it a flip. But I don't recommend it as something to like actively look for. I then read Pretty Deadly, Volume 1 by Kelly, no, I'm not trying to pronounce that last name. I've offended enough people. I don't know. Pretty Deadly is one of the most artistically interesting comic books I've read in a while. I can't remember the last time I read a graphic novel with like an alternate Wild West theme, but after reading Pretty Deadly, I'm sitting there going, why aren't there more? Because this gives me so many brain ideas. I'm so excited. I can't tell you basically any of the plot of this without giving everything away. It's one of those type stories, but it takes place in like an alternate Old West. It deals with death, and it's got really cool, creepy characters and really interesting art. Definitely give it a read just for the art alone. The art just by itself gave me ideas. I thought it was really cool. I then took a turn for the mainstream and read The Life-Changing Art of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. The name is lame as hell, but the book is helpful. I haven't actually done the whole tidying up thing that she recommends. What? Come on, I'm only human. But I did find it very interesting. I did think that a lot of the stuff she said made sense. I wasn't sure if it was gonna be like a weird, like you should have no possessions because possessions are greedy and stupid. But no, I mean, the point that she makes, if I could like just write out one thesis, is basically everything that you have in your house should make you happy. It should be something that you use and something that sparks joy, as she put it. So if it doesn't, throw it away. I'm gonna try my best to keep this video from being ridiculously long, so I'm just gonna cut it off right here. Any other books that I read, I will roll them over into a book reviews 3, which I'm sure you'll be able to find in the next play thing. YouTube is very helpful with that. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if that's your thing. Please feel free to leave me book recommendations in the comment section, because who doesn't love to be recommended a book that could then turn into your new favorite book? That is amazing. I love that kind of shit. Do it.